Good evening to you, wherever you are. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is being brought to you by Rainbow, and Rainbow is good bread. Today's program is a very special program, and I would like for you to call a friend and tell your friend to be sure and stay tuned to the Clara Luper radio show. It was not a typical Saturday in Oklahoma City. It was nothing traditional about it. It was a Saturday that will live in our memories. It was a Saturday in which we said goodbye to a friend, Calvin Williams. If you had passed the Christ United Methodist Church located at Northeast 17th and Kelly, you would have known that somebody had lived and had lived well. You would have been amazed at the diversification of the crowd. You would have seen them in white and black, yes, in yellow and black. You would have seen the members of the Zeta Phi Beta sorority, the East Side Culture Club, the Criterion Study Club, the Northeast Lioness Club, the Northeast Lounge Club, the Eleanor Roosevelt Democratic Women's Club, and the Georgie Brown's Democratic Women's Club. But that was only the beginning. You would have seen people of all ages, races, and religious background. And then you would have wondered why someone had lived. And that someone was Calvin Williams, who was born in Brooksville, Oklahoma, who had moved to Oklahoma City and had attended Dunbar Elementary School and graduated with a great deal of pride from a school that he loved so dearly, Douglas High School. At Douglas, you would have shared his growth in the marching band. You would have realized that he brought honor becoming the first clarinetist in the Douglas Symphony Orchestra under the elegant Mrs. Bro. Yes, you would have been proud because it was Calvin Williams that was a part of that band, which in 1933 went to the Chicago World's Fair in the presentation, Oh, Sing a New Song. Many of you will remember him by your association with him at the Allen Chapel AME Church, the first AME Church, and the Christ United Methodist Church. You would have known that someone had lived. You would have known that someone lived well. It was in the quietness of the sanctuary that one could really feel the presence of someone that had really lived. The flowers with a multiplicity of colors told the news. Reverend N.C. Irvin of Avery Chapel AME Church read from the Old Testament very slowly and very distinctively. Reverend William Gifford read the 46 Psalms in his melodious voice. And then Estella Carruthers and Edith Sneed sang. There were remarks by Governor George Nye and the Honorable Jim Baker, who spoke of Calvin Williams as a man that motivated people with a smile. And then the eulogy by Reverend John R. Banks. And the final selection was a solo by Calvin Williams' son, James A. Williams. Yes, Calvin Williams lived and lived well. A hero in the eyes of this community. For 52 years, he and Freddie had walked along life's highway together as a team. 52 years of happiness. And one of the persons that I've talked to told me that Calvin Williams was one of the most helpful persons that he had known. And yesterday, a city said goodbye to Calvin Williams. His wife, Freddie, a member of the House of Representatives, a wife that he was proud of, and that he did everything that he could to prove that a man respects a woman with a career and loves her and her activities. 2 sons, John Frederick and his lovely wife, Bonnie, James and his wife, Euphemia of Boulder, Colorado, 1 daughter, Candy of Oklahoma City. And it was goodbye to Calvin Williams. We thank God for many things, but certainly God has left us with memory. The memory of a man that lived well. No wonder on the memorial service they wrote, "Servant of God, well done. Rest from thy loved employed. The battle's fought, the victory's won. Enter thy master's joy." Clara Luper reporting, KAEZ Radio in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I had the opportunity on Wednesday night to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I was a guest speaker at a salute to retired black educators of Tulsa, Oklahoma. There were over 100 black educators present. Representative Don Ross, Senator Bernard McIntyre stood and brought greetings and thanked the teachers for what they had done for them as students. Mr. William X. Smith, the president of the Tulsa Greenwood Chamber of Commerce and their bank president, brought greetings. There was a solo by Mrs. Jeanette Adams. Mrs. Moselle S. Lewis was the MC for the occasion. Reverend Lawrence Lackey, the director of the Urban League, brought special greetings to the teachers. And I had the opportunity to speak to teachers that I had respected throughout the years, teachers that had made it possible for young people all over this country to go a step further. And certainly I would like to thank the committee in Tulsa for giving me that rare opportunity to talk to the teachers that I had respected for so long. Sugarfoot Johnson had helped to put it together, and certainly those of you in the sports world remember him. He's returned to Tulsa and is leading what is known as the Community Youth Operations, which is now in its 3rd year in Tulsa. The people in North Tulsa are really saying that this is remarkable for a young man to come back and help young people. The M&W Welding Company is located at 2601 Northeast 23rd Street. The telephone number is 424-1482. That's the M&W Welding Company, 2601 Northeast 23rd Street. C.C.L. Williams, the state president of NACP, would like your participation in the state convention, which will be held here on October the 11th and 12th. Many of you want to be a part of this great affair, and certainly Cecil Williams would like for you to contact him. Now, that's the state. Today, according to Mr. David Threet, the membership committee had a special meeting, and the purpose of the meeting was to inspire and encourage those that were working in the membership drive. Mr. Ira D. Hall served as chairperson of the meeting. Those of you that have not gotten your memberships in NACP, please do it immediately. So many of you have called and said you've taken out memberships and you have not gotten them. Those memberships have all been sent to the national office, and you should be receiving your membership soon. And speaking of soon you will have the opportunity, and that's soon tomorrow night, to go to the House of Bingo located at 3613 North Everett Street here in Oklahoma City. You can play bingo in your neighborhood. Yes, it's a neighborhood bingo house, the House of Bingo, 3613 North Everett Street. Be sure and tell Mr. Singer that you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. on next Sunday at 3:30, you are invited to join people all over this nation in celebrating a back-to-school rally. The NAACP Youth Council has been asked by the National Youth Director to put on a special program, Back to School to Learn. And I know you will be part of this program. That's a House of Bingo, 3613. The program will be held at the 5th Street Baptist Church, 801 Northeast 5th Street. Now let me repeat that because I don't want to confuse anyone. The Back to School to Learn rally will be held at the 5th Street Baptist Church, 801 Northeast 5th Street, Sunday evening at 3:30 p.m. and you are invited. Derek Platt, the president of the NAACP, will be calling and will be telling me the choirs that will be singing. Now that's at the 5th Street Baptist Church at exactly 3:30 p.m. We are very fortunate to announce that we have the two superintendents of our school system. Dr. Ed, the superintendent of the Millwood School System, our district, and Dr. Stella, the superintendent of the Oklahoma City School System, will speak. We would like to invite the presidents and officers of all of the student council. We would like to invite all of the students in the Oklahoma City to be present. This is a very, very important rally, and it is called all over the nation the Back to School to Learn rally. That is at the 5th Street Baptist Church, 801 Northeast 5th Street. So many of you have called and congratulated the NAACP Youth Council because of the work they are doing in the community. We would also like for you to attend the meetings. We meet every Monday night at exactly 6:30 p.m. at Freedom Center, 2609 Northeastern. Your children and you are invited to participate. It's interesting to note what happens to the young people that participate in the NAACP Youth Council. These are students that are not only exposed to the educational and religious experiences of their city, but they have an opportunity to work on the political, the social, and the civil rights aspects of a city. It has certainly been good for the young people that have gone through the NAACP Youth Council's program. Do you really want to save some money and gasoline and time? Then I want you to go to Enterprise Square Place. Oh, what a deal. You will be glad you did. 4901 North Martin Luther King Avenue is a place. It's called Enterprise Square Place. It's first class, and you are safe at last at Enterprise Square Place. 4901 North Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. One stop does it all. Listen what you can do at one stop. You can purchase your automobile tags. They have a bona fide tag agency. You can pay your utility bills. You can pick up stamps. They have a bona fide United States Post Office right in Enterprise Square Place. Sherry's Cleaners located there. You can take your clothes out in the morning and you can pick them up in the evening. Sherry's Cleaners. And that cleaners will fix your clothes up so you will never go to another cleaners. They have a laundromat, and the laundromat is first class with all new equipment. And those of you that would like to do some hurry-up cleaning, you can do it at the laundromat. Now that's at 4901 North Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. That's the place. It's called Enterprise Square Place. That's in Oklahoma City. And certainly we would like to thank those of you that are taking your laundry. If you want to have some shirts fixed, don't worry about it. You don't have to drive anywhere to get your shirts looking first class. Just take them to 4901 North Martin Luther King Avenue. That's Sherry's Cleaners. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. This is a show that brings you the news that you will not get anywhere else. And no wonder then that I'm going to dedicate today's show to a very important lady who never misses the Clara Luper Radio Show. This lady would not miss that Clara Luper radio show for nothing. Now, those of you out in radio land that has not missed the Clara Luper radio show, why don't you call me out here and let me know? But I'm going to tell you that it's one lady in Oklahoma City, and I'll be telling you all about her who never misses the Clara Luper radio show. But in the meantime, I would like to introduce a young lady who's getting a promotion this year. Shelley has been with me for the past 12 years here on radio, and she's getting a promotion. She's getting a big raise in salary, and I know she will be doing a better job this year. Shelley has been so busy, and I know you have missed her. You don't have to worry. Here she is. I would like to introduce Shelley Luper, our new sports reporter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Shelley Marie Luper Wilson, bringing to you some sports. The scores from football this past Friday were Southeast 35, Capitol Hill 0, Carl Albert 40, Guthrie 7, Dale City 42, John Marshall 18, Millwood 24, Star Spencer 2. And that was brought to you by Merlin Hildred. Merlin sells home insurance, life insurance, and car insurance. And if you need some good life insurance or home insurance, please contact Merlin.
What is Marilyn's telephone number?
At the office is 751-8435, and home is 424-6863.
There you have it. Shelley, I didn't like that score. What was that score again with John Marshall? You okay.
Dale City 42, John Marshall 18. John Marshall got beat.
Okay, we'll see you next year. We'll see you Dale City next year. Shelley, now as my sports reporter, I don't want you to talk about John Marshall High School.
Okay.
Well, thank you so very kindly. This is the Clara Luper radio show. Watkins Stevens Skyview Convalescent Nursing Home is a clean, modern home designed for the sick and the aged. 24 hours nursing service. Betty Aura Lynch, administrator. Aura N. Estella Bug, who's the director of nursing. Phyllis Chambers, the secretary. Anita Johnson, the social and activity director. Hattie Young, Sonora Major. And they have something that's unusual. That's a hot food cart for keeping the food warm. Don't you feel better in knowing that your sick and your aged relatives and friends are out where they can get good, hot food, clean home, well taken care of? Don't take my word for it. The location is 3203 Coltrane Road here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's really exciting to hear good news. Good news, good news. We need to hear some good news, and certainly I'm happy that we have lived in an era where we have produced some of the greatest leaders in the world. And let me tell you the big news story. Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City, and let us now listen at his words. Let us listen at his words.
As I leave you now, and we vote in this convention and get ready to go back across this nation in a couple of days, in this campaign, I tried to be faithful to my promise. I lived in El Barrios, ghettos, Indian reservations, and housing projects. I had a message for our youth. I challenged them to put hope in their brains and not dope in their veins. I told them that like Jesus, I too was born in the slum, but just because you're born in the slum does not mean the slum is born in you, and you can rise above it if your mind is made up. I told them in every slum there are two sides. When I see a broken window, that's the slummy side. Train some youth to become a glazer, that's the sunny side. When I see a missing brick, that's the slummy side. Let that child in the union and become a brick mason and build. That's the sunny side. When I see a missing door, that's the slummy side. Train some youth to become a carpenter. That's the sunny side. When I see the vulgar words and hieroglyphics of destitution on the walls, that's the slummy side. Train some youth to become a painter and artist. That's the sunny side. We leave this place looking for the sunny side because there's a brighter side somewhere. I'm more convinced than ever that we can win. We'll fought up the rough side of the mountain. We can win. I just want young America to do me one favor. Just one favor. Exercise the right to dream. You must face reality, that which is, but then dream of the reality that ought to be, that must be. Live beyond the pain of reality with the dream of a bright tomorrow. Use hope and imagination as weapons of survival and progress. Use love to motivate you and obligate you to serve the human family. Young America, dream. Choose the human race over the nuclear race. Bury the weapons and don't burn the people. Dream. Dream of a new value system. Teachers who teach for life and not just for a living. Teach because they can't help it. Dream of lawyers more concerned about justice than a judgeship. Dream of doctors more concerned about public health than personal wealth. Dream of preachers and priests who will prophesy and not just profiteer. Preach and dream. Our time has come. Our time has come. Suffering breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will not disappoint. Our time has come. Our faith, hopes, and dreams will prevail. Our time has come. Weeping has endured for a night, but now joy cometh in the morning. Our time has come. No grave can hold our body down. Our time has come. No lie can live forever. Our time has come. We must leave racial battleground and come to economic common ground and moral higher ground. America, our time has come. We've come from disgrace to amazing grace. Our time has come. Give me your tired, give me your poor, your huddled masses who yearn to breathe free, and come November, there will be a change because our time has come. Thank you and God bless
you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jesse Jackson that will be coming to Oklahoma City. I have with me here in the studio a young man who's all excited. How are you, Attorney Alexander?
I'm just fine. Thank you for having me.
I am so happy that you are here. Now, I've invited you here because I understand that it is a fact that Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City.
That's right, Clara. A man who has talked to kings and sheiks and presidents is now coming to talk to Oklahoma City, and we can't afford not to be there.
Why is it that Jesse Jackson has never been in Oklahoma City to speak before?
Because of his demanding schedule, he's internationally renowned. He's wanted and he's in constant demand as a speaker, and that's why it's been so difficult throughout the years, although many attempts have been made to get him to come to Oklahoma City. and now we're privileged to have him.
When will Jesse Jackson be in Oklahoma City?
Monday, September 23rd, 1975.
Okay, repeat that again. When?
Monday night, September 23rd, 1985.
All right, to where will he be speaking?
In the Grand Ballroom of the Skirvin Hotel at 7 o'clock p.m.
Jesse Jackson will be in Oklahoma City. What's so unique about Jesse Jackson as you see it?
Well, first of all, Reverend Jackson is a negotiator without equal. He's a supporter of minority businesses. He's respected all over the United States and throughout the world to a far greater extent than the United States press would give credit. And we'll be privileged to hear him.
Oh, it's certainly, I don't know anybody that's going to miss Jesse Jackson. Now, I understand that Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City. That's the main point. September the 23rd, Jesse Jackson. How will young people, middle-aged people, and old people benefit from hearing Jesse Jackson?
Well, as you've just heard, he's the most inspirational and charismatic speaker in the United States and in the world today. And also, he's a truly historic figure. And you'll be able to say that you met him and heard him and talked to him up close and personal.
I know that there's one group that's just about to shout, and that's the members of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Jesse Jackson is a member of that fraternity, and what are you planning for Jesse Jackson as it relates to that particular fraternity?
I want all the Qs throughout the state of Oklahoma to really turn out, and if you do, we want to have a special reception before Reverend Jackson speaks where he can greet you and you can greet your brother in the fraternity.
I know. I can see those Qs. I can see old Fred Davis and David Threet, Calvin Luper. I can see all those Qs rejoicing because Jesse Jackson is a Q. Now, if one of our sorors was coming to Oklahoma City, Laddie, you've been my bossilist. What would you do if the most popular member of our sorority, like the Qs, the most popular Q in America, and I know Benjamin Hooks wouldn't like that. He's a Q, but I don't think he's as popular as Jesse Jackson. What would you do if one of ours was coming?
Mrs. Luper, the thing that I would do if one of ours were coming, number one, all of my sorors would be there, and we would plan a big reception, and she would have a reception, and they would all attend the affair and bring their friends, and their friends would bring their friends, and we would just have a gala affair, and we would have a wonderful, magnificent turnout. So this is just what we would do. So I hope they would do the same.
Well, I'm going to be hearing from those Qs, and I want you to catch the telephone. Let's see if any of those Qs are listening to the Clara Luper radio show. I understand that before Jesse Jackson comes in, according to the program, you're going to have all of his brothers, the Qs, to march in. Is that true?
That's very true, Ms. Luper. We plan to make it a gala extravaganza.
Oh, it should be. Jesse Jackson has paid his dues, and I call upon all of you in Oklahoma City to support this dinner. Now, I can say one thing, that there were a lot of people that didn't come out when Martin Luther King came to Oklahoma City, and they regretted it. This is something that happens once in a lifetime. Therefore, I'm calling upon this community. I'm telling you, it only costs $25, and that's simple. $25 to hear Jesse Jackson and to eat a good meal, I don't have to worry about that because all of these people out here got $25, and I know a large number of young people would be willing to sacrifice some things. A lot of people be sacrificing cigarettes and beer, some more things in order to hear Jesse Jackson. Now, I understand that you have gotten Jesse Jackson to speak at one school in Oklahoma City. Is that true?
That's correct, Ms. Luper, and since I'm a former Douglas Trojan, I didn't want to be accused of being biased in the selection of the school.
I know you wanted him to speak at Douglas, and look at Mrs. Hunter. She's smiling. Since Jesse Jackson will come in here Monday, and before school is out, he will visit one school. Well, I want you to know, Attorney Alexander, that I would like to have Jesse Jackson visit John Marshall High School.
Well, let's see how many tickets are sold there.
Okay, now you don't have to worry about John Marshall High School. I just want to hear Mrs. Hunter. I want to hear Mrs. Hunter. And if I know anything about that principal, that new principal at Northeast High School, one of my former students, Joyce Henderson, Joyce will be saying, I want him to come to to Northeast High School. And I know they want him at Northwest, and I can see Dr. Ed and the people at Millwood wanting him out there. Now, Letty, where do you think he should go?
Mrs. Luper, you're going to ask me this. Now, all the years we've been on this TV program, radio program, you know that I'm going to say Douglas High School. Now, I know you're going to say, when I hand you back the mic, John Marshall. But I'm going to say he should come to Douglas High School because Douglas is really about the center of the city. Then all the other schools can come over to Douglas High School and hear him. So this is where I'm saying that he should come to Douglas High School.
We cannot make that decision. Let's let our radio audience make it. You call us and tell us where you think. What school do you think Jesse Jackson should visit? Jesse Jackson has visited schools all over the world. Now, what do you think? I'm going to tell everybody again what I think. I think he should come to John Marshall High School. And what do you think?
Well, now, I think he'll be there because he said this is going to be a potpourri of events. So I know we all are going to be coming in to see and hear this magnificent speaker, the Jesse Jackson, the mighty Jesse Jackson, as some of them call.
They are calling in now. One person has called saying they think he should come to Douglas. Somebody else to Northeast. Shelley, what do you think?
I think he should come to Jefferson.
What did you say?
I think he should come to Jefferson.
Jefferson Middle School? Well, I think he should come to John Marshall because at John Marshall you got Mr. Garrett there. You have a group of teachers that are extremely interested in Jesse Jackson, and then you have a young man there who played Jesse Jackson next year. And you graduated from Douglas, so you think he should come to Douglas, right?
Without doubt, Mrs. Luper, and I'm sure that the Trojans would agree.
Okay, okay, those Bears would welcome Jesse Jackson. Now, Jesse Jackson believed in a rainbow coalition, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we must realize, though, that we've got to make this the biggest event that has ever happened in the history of Oklahoma City. And that's why Marilyn Hildred at Allstate Insurance Company says thanks for bringing Jesse Jackson here. She said not only will she be there, but she will see to it that Alicia will be there. Yes, Alicia will be there. The calls are coming in. The people are saying, let him come to John Marshall. John Marshall, we are leading. And those of you keep calling here, we are leading, aren't we, Shelley? More people have called for John Marshall than any other school. If Jesse Jackson is going to come to Oklahoma City, and he's going to come, because he's coming to Oklahoma City, he's going to speak to a $25 a plate dinner. And that's a waiting audience at the Skirvin Hotel. And I know I have a lot of white friends out there I want you to call because I know you're going to support this like you have never supported anything in your life. To those of you down at Oklahoma University, I need to hear from you. And the calls continue to come in. Now, that's from Grant High School. They think he should come. From Douglas High School, Northeast High School, Grant High School again. But I think he should come to John Marshall High School. And I want you John Marshall Bears to... Let's see if we can get him there. Yes, Shelley, you're thinking Jefferson, and you're thinking by yourself.
And someone else called for Western Middle School.
Western Middle School, Webster Middle School. Let's see what you want. All right. Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City. He will be speaking at a big dinner meeting down at the Skirvin Hotel. One time in our life, we had the opportunity to hear Martin Luther King Jr. in Oklahoma City. But this is going to be a big one. I would like to ask Mrs. Hunter to come over and agree with me that he should come to John Marshall High School in Oklahoma City.
Yes, ma'am, Mrs. Luper, I'm going to witness that with you, that this is where he should come, and I'm going to spell the name of that school, and it spells Douglass. Now, I'm sure that spells John Marshall.
Okay, I would like to spell John Marshall, capital John, capital Marshall. We want Jesse Jackson in. Since Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City, and since John Marshall is a school that's concerned and a school where young people will be, they are completely integrated. We have a principal, we have an assistant principal, Mrs. Morgan is there, and we want Jesse Jackson. Now, it's going to be. We have another call from Millwood School. We have a lot of people that's been calling from Millwood School. Millwood School would like to have Jesse Jackson come, and since he's going to visit just one high school in Oklahoma City, the calls continue to come in. Shelley, keep an exact record, and we are going to see what the most intelligent audience in Oklahoma City would like. Those of you that would like to do some shopping for some furniture, I would like for you to go to the M&J's Furniture Company at 910 Northeast 4th Street here in Oklahoma City. Are you looking for specific furnishings to complement that special room? Or perhaps you are looking for an unusual and unique accessory to enhance your decor? Then stop by M&J's Furniture, 910 Northeast 4th Street, your neighborhood furniture store, for the finest in-home furnishings and accessories at prices that you can afford. Store hours Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, M&J's Furniture Company is closed on Sundays and Mondays. I want you to remember M&J's Furniture, 910 Northeast 4th Street. The telephone number is 232-0115. Tell them you heard about it on the Clara Luper Show, and they will give you a 10% discount on already low prices. Ladies and gentlemen, the calls continue to come in, and Douglas has run ahead of all of us. More people have called for Douglas than any other school. I still say that I think it should be John Marshall. Let's see. Let's read. Douglas High School's in first place. John Marshall is second place. Northeast is in third place, and Millwood's in fourth place. Let's keep that telephone ringing out here because I've got to convince Attorney Alexander that Jesse Jackson should come to John Marshall High School. If he should come, we would put out a big sign all across the sidewalks. Welcome, Jesse Jackson. We'd get us some Jesse Jackson badges, and you just leave it to Mr. Richard Garrett, who is the head of the history department, and we will do it. We will have essays on Jesse Jackson. We will have pictures. It's no telling what we will do if you will give us the opportunity to have Jesse Jackson to come to John Marshall. Now, Mrs. Hunter, you are running ahead.
Right. That's marquee going to be having flicker lights. You're going to walk by. You're going to think that you're somewhere that's not here because all the lights at the Douglas Lounge marquee is going to be flickering as you go up Eastern. You look over at Douglas at the marquee at the Trojan Head, and all those lights going to be flickering, and the name up there is going to be Jesse Jackson. His name is going to be all there on the marquee with the date, time, and all showing up that he will be there.
Oh, let me have this microphone because John Marshall has just pulled ahead of Douglas High School. Here it is. John Marshall High School is leading, bidding for Jesse Jackson. Douglas is next. Oh, no, we've tied it up. Douglas and John Marshall are all tied. In second place is Northeast High School, and in third place is Millwood High School. These young people want to see Jesse Jackson. They realize that Jesse Jackson was a man that that was standing with Martin Luther King when he was assassinated. They realized that Jesse Jackson did what no one else could do. He went into Iran and brought the hostages back. We know he went to Cuba. We know all about Jesse Jackson. We know he ran for president of the United States and became the first one of his race to make a showing that is certainly outstanding. The calls continue to come in, and we will be getting a report. In the meantime, I would like to dedicate this program to two beautiful young ladies that have never missed a Clara Luper radio show. One is Thelma Diggs. Mrs. Thelma Diggs is one of the most intelligent women that you will ever know. She's sweet, she's kind, she's courageous, and she listens to the Clara Luper radio show. I wonder where would she recommend that Jesse Jackson would go? I'm afraid to ask her because I believe she's a graduate of Douglas High School. Thelma Diggs, wherever you are, remember I love you. I have another young lady, a beautiful young lady, Mrs. Alberta Almond, that never misses a Clara Luper radio show. Now, if you miss a show, you have to call me and let me know if you have not missed a show. But anyway, today's program is for Mrs. Alberta Almond and Mrs. Thelma Diggs. Yes, this is a Clara Luper radio show. This is a city where everything is happening. Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City, and we are so excited about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we see the telephone continues to ring. Those young people want Jesse Jackson, but we've got to talk about what we will have to do as adults. I understand that all the sororities, all the clubs, all churches, and everybody certainly invited. Now, there are a lot of people out in radio land that want to write down in their diaries, I had the opportunity to eat with Jesse Jackson. Now, where can we get some tickets?
Tickets are available at the Black Chronicle, at United Drug Stores, at the Myriad Ticket Box office, or you can call me at my office. My number is 239-6781, or you can get it out of the phone book, 239-6781.
All right, Mrs. Lady Ruth Hunter and Clara Luper will also have some tickets. Now, let's take Attorney Alexander's telephone number, 239-6781. I understand that you can get it at the Black Chronicle. Do you have that address? Okay, the United Drug Store is at 36 in Kelly, and I know Mr. Graham will be tickle pink to be selling tickets to the Jesse Jackson dinner. The Myriad Box Office. Now, we cannot talk. Let me tell you what has happened throughout the country. Wherever Jesse Jackson has gone, it's been a complete sellout. History is being made in Oklahoma City, and I want everybody to be a part of that history. We only have a limited amount of tickets, and people are calling us here at the radio station. They are wanting tickets, and we want to have a complete sellout. Next week, we should be sold completely out of tickets. Those of you that would like reservations by groups, by organizations, call Attorney Alexander, and that telephone number is 239-6781. They are still answering the telephone. Let's see how we are doing. Let's see how we are doing here. Let's see what schools are ahead in one Jesse Jackson to visit that school. Won't that be an honor for Jesse Jackson to visit the school? And I understand that he will be taking some pictures with the students in these schools. That will be quite an honor, and everybody will know exactly what happened. Well, Mrs. Thelma Diggs and Miss Alberta Alma, this is your show. This is the Clara Luper radio show. Let's see now who's ahead. Douglas is ahead. John Marsh is second. Northeast is third. Millwood is second. And Star Spencer, somebody out to Star Spencer won. And ladies and gentlemen, Shawnee High School has just called, and they want Jesse Jackson. This is really something that's really interesting. Call us here, 424-3376, and let us know exactly what you want. We have enough operators to answer all of the telephone because we want to know. Those of you out in Radio Land, I have some good news for you. And the good news is that the Northeast Art Festival will be this Saturday at the YWCA here in Oklahoma City. That's a McFarland branch of YWCA, and you are required to be present. Chancellor Shardina's Daycare Center is located at 1643 Northeast of 50th Street. And also, Chancellor Shardina's Daycare Center number 2 is located at 2611 Northeastern. Call Mrs. Gloria Mathis, 424-4656. Yes, it's time to see to it that your child is not only going to a daycare center, but your child is exposed to the best. And the best is at Chancellor Shardina's Daycare Center here in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 424-4656 here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We are now... The next few minutes, we will be hearing from the adults out in Radio Land. I know you adults will be all ready to go. I know you adults will be ready to go. And certainly, because you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show, I would like for you to respond on the Clara Luper radio show. Some of you adults, I would like for you to call us and tell us that you and your friends will be at the Jesse Jackson's dinner. I understand that you will be seated according to the manner in which you purchase your tickets. For example, the first 100 people, and those tickets have already been sold, will be sitting up, and we want to make sure that you are in a good location, and we are trying to fix it where everybody will be there. I would like to hear from the president of the Qs, and I would like to hear from Qs. Wonder how many Qs will go marching in. I can see them. One thing I can say about those Qs, they got the money, and $25 won't mean anything. Those Qs will be there, and I would like to salute the men of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, and I know you'll be happy because your brother will be here in Oklahoma City. Yes, Jesse Jackson will speak here in Oklahoma City. He will visit only one school in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The telephones continue to ring, and Shelley will be bringing back a report on what school that the public thinks that he should visit. Shawnee High School continuing to call in, people from Shawnee, Oklahoma, people from El Reno, Oklahoma. Where should Jesse Jackson go when he comes to Oklahoma for a day? And he will be in Oklahoma City for a day. What school should he visit? Well, if you Shawnee people keep calling, no telling what's going to happen here on the Clara Luper radio show. This is a show where things really happen. Welcome to Oklahoma City to Jesse Jackson. As it stands now, Douglas High School is still leading. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a big change here. Langston University has been calling in, and Langston University is in third place. Now let me go over what we have here. According to what we have here, the reports, Douglas High School's in first place, John Marshall High School's in second place. In third place is Langston University. In fourth place is Northeast High School. Fifth place is Millwood High School. In 6th place is Dale City. In 7th place is Shawnee, Oklahoma, and Western Heights running in last place. And people are calling in. We want you to get the word out. Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City. What an honor to see a man that has made the kinds of contributions that Jesse Jackson has made. A unique individual. Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City. 239-6781. We want you to purchase your tickets, and we want to hear from the Qs. We need to know who's the president of the chapter here. We already know. We need to know the state officers, because I know those Qs are going to have a ball. I can just see those Qs walking in. I can see David Threet walking in. I know. And let me tell you, the happiest Q in Oklahoma City is going to be Mr. White. You know Mr. White? Yes. You know Mr. White? Okay, used to be president of the NACP. And do you think Mr. White will be there with those Qs?
Well, I believe so, Mrs. Luper, and so if we're going to buy tickets, we better get tickets and then go early so we won't have the back seat at the back door in the building, because I know those queues are going to be there, and they will have all those tables filled so fast that all the other people will have to take back rows.
I know those Qs will not be leaving their wives. Those of you in Oklahoma City, you want a good bondsman, and when you get in trouble, you want one in a hurry. That's why I'm recommending Nash Mitchell's Bonding Company. All you have to do is to call 427-8199, 427-2862. That's Nash Mitchell's Bonding Company, and Nash Mitchell would like to welcome Jesse Jackson to Oklahoma City. From all of our advertisers and from KAEZ Radio, we would like to welcome Jesse Jackson to Oklahoma City. Those of you that have not read Behold the Walls by Clara Luper, I would like for you to purchase a copy of the book. It's $13, and that's why we can stay on the air, because you are buying my book, Behold the Walls by Clara Luper. Rainbow Bread would like to welcome Jesse Jackson to Oklahoma City. The M&W Welding Company, welcome to Oklahoma City, Jesse Jackson. And now the telephone continues to ring, and we need a new report, and in a minute Shelley will be bringing us up to date on what school is going to get Jesse Jackson. Now we need to now I don't like this. John Marshall behind. Okay, once again Star Spencer is moving up, Millwood is moving up, Northeast is moving up, Shawnee is moving up, Dale City is moving up, but Douglas High School, just a minute now, we have an upset here. John Marshall is ahead. Mrs. Hunter, look at the scores. John Marshall is ahead. How do you feel now, Mrs. Hunter? John Marshall is ahead.
But the calls are still coming in, Mrs. Luper. That doesn't mean anything. It's just like a election. She had to go back in the room and start catching the phone, because I see her answering the phone now, and I'm sure Douglas is calling in, because I'm sure we're going to get these calls coming in from Douglas. Come on, Douglas. Trojans, call in, because we want him at Douglas, because this is the place for them to be. And I want to invite Shawnee to come on up to Douglas, Shawnee, and we will be happy to have you at Douglas High School.
John Marsh is located at 9017 North University Street. Mr. Richard Garrett is the chairperson of the history department. It has been reported that the history students are ready for Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson will be coming to Oklahoma City, and as Onita read for you, bring to you the funeral and death announcements. We want you to keep calling us in, because we will announce what's a winner, and we're going to see what this attorney, who someday will be a judge, is going to do about that. Because if John Marshall continues to lead, we are going to get Jesse Jackson. Here's Onita for the funeral and death announcement.
Roth Funeral Home announces the following services. Services for Mr. Alonzo, better known as Yo-Yo Davis, of 2129 North Lottie, will be Monday at 11 a.m. in the Roth Memorial Chapel. Funeral service for Mrs. Irene Walker, 2111 North Prospect, will be Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the Roth Memorial Chapel. Funeral service for Mrs. Eurodale Briggs, Route 2, Box 908, Spencer, also be Tuesday at 11 a.m. at the St. James Baptist Church. Funeral service for Mrs. Florence Dunn, 624 Northeast 61st Street, will be Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. at the St. John Baptist Church. Funeral service for Miss Christy Coffey of 2223 Grand Circle will be Wednesday at 1 p.m. in the Roth Memorial Chapel. Temple Funeral Home announces the services of Mrs. Lily Mae Moore, 2320 Northeast 21st Street, will be Monday at 2 p.m. at the True Vine Baptist Church. We would like to say to the families tonight, as we extend to you our deepest sympathy, we do not know why friends must part or loved ones. We only know God's love live on and will live to the end. We cannot see with earth-bound eyes, but by faith we know we are kept with his boundless love. And so in faith, we must believe regardless of the test. No matter what each day brings, God's way is still the best. And back to Clara.
Thank you, Onita. Lady, you lost a friend yesterday. I told the radio audience about Calvin Williams. I know that before you leave here, you would have to do it.
Yes, Mrs. Luper. We did lose a friend. And I think I really, truly lost a friend, Calvin Williams. But I was fortunate, Mrs. Luper, to go out at the hospital on Saturday afternoon. Previously, I had gone and Calvin was not happy. But this Saturday afternoon, I just knew Calvin was on a road to recovery. Because when I walked in the room, he looked at me and he looked at my husband and he opened his eyes with his eyes open and he smiled. And we told him how well he looked and how good he was looking. And I told him that I knew he was getting ready to come home. And I was thinking he was coming to Page, Mrs. Luper, but I guess he was smiling that he was going to a different home. And to the family, I want to extend my heartfelt sympathy because I know his wife had lost a wonderful husband. And I've lost a friend because my memories run back when Calvin used to sing in the choir that I sang in. And I would love to hear him lead because he sang tenor and he would always lead solos in our choir. And to the family, please always look to God because God knows best. And he's not going to do things until it is time. And Calvin and I would always say this. He said, the Lord is not going to take me, Mrs. Hunter, until he's through with me working here on earth. And I said, you're right, Calvin. When our work here on earth is complete and when it is done and finished, then he's going to say to us, well done. And I remember he was in the hospital a short time ago and he came home and I went by to see him and he said, Mrs. Hunter, I told you the Lord wasn't through with me yet. He still had some work for me to do. And I said, yes, Calvin. And I truly believe that. And I do shed my heartfelt sympathy with the family. And back to Clara.
Thank you, Letty. Today's program is a very special program. Marilyn Hildred from Allstate Insurance is a very special insurance agent. If you need some help with your homeowners or your life, be sure and call Marilyn Hildred. Her home telephone number is 424-6863. Calvin Luper would like for you to come by Studio 75. He has some pictures special for you. And if you are planning a wedding or anything, call Calvin 235-4875. Letty, we are in a tie here. We are in a tie between Douglas High School, John Marshall High School, Millwood, and believe it or not, Shawnee. We need to work out something, and we need to work it out quickly because Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City. Now, what I would like for you to do out in Radio Land, I would like for you to call a friend and tell your friend Jesse Jackson is coming to Oklahoma City and have your friend to go and pick up tickets. Attorney Alexander is here. He's been on the telephone, but he's coming back, and certainly he's going to tell us where we can pick up these tickets. It would be a disgrace of those of us that have not gone through the stormy waters of racial discrimination and fought against it like Jesse Jackson to not to feel that. I want some of my white friends to call me. Some of my best friends are white. I got to hear from my white friends, my Indian friends. I've got to hear from them. We are all tied up here. Langston has come in. Langston University is coming in. But now, attorney, now you've got to be fair. Now, what in the world are we going to do? Now, we know that you're going to have to contact the superintendent of schools, Mrs. Mason, Mrs. Griffin, and tell them that Jesse Jackson will be coming to Oklahoma City, and I'm sure that our superintendent will be happy. Mrs. Mason will be all smiles. It's going to be something. Now, I want you to understand one thing, that we are all tied up here, and incidentally, we have had close to 200 people to call us out here. Don't tell me these young people don't want to see something that's great. Don't talk about our young people. Our young people are interested. These are young people who don't mind going in their pockets, going to the dinner. And I bet it be so many young people at that dinner that it's going to be tough. Look here now, attorney. What can be fair to all of the schools? I want Jesse Jackson at John Marshall.
Now, attorney, you know he's going to have to come to Douglas, because Douglas is I said Eastern, but let me correct that, Martin Luther King.
Yes.
So now he has to come to some established place, and that is Douglas. Then there's this new street that's put on, and now he has to come through this because we are making history over here on the northeast side. So I know that you are going to push for him to come to Douglas.
John Marshall High School. We would like to have him. And incidentally, let me run over the schools that's been calling here today. Grant, Dell City, Shawnee, Langston University, Oklahoma University, Central State University, Douglas High School, Northeast High School, Millwood, John Marshall, and Star Spencer. Now, what are you going to do about it, attorney?
Well, now, as a former Douglas Trojan, I have to put in my vote for the Trojans, unless the people demand otherwise. So
okay, we are going to demand otherwise. Now, let's be fair. How can we do it? How can we work it out where all of the students in this school system will have a fair chance to see Jesse Jackson, since he's going to only visit one school?
Well, one way would be for Jesse to go to the school that sells the most tickets or purchases the most tickets.
Oh, that's different. Well, get ready to come to John Marshall High School. I want to see what Mrs. That is really something. You are saying that the school that has the most guests at the Jesse Jackson's dinner will be the school that Jesse Jackson will visit.
That's correct.
Okay, I want to see Mrs. Hunter now. I want her to do some talking now. I know one thing. We have so many students at John Marshall High School and teachers and principals and assistant principals and counselors that will pay $25 to eat with Jesse Jackson until it's unbelievable. Now, Mrs. Hunter, the attorney has stated, since we are tied up here, all of these calls have come in and everybody wants Jesse Jackson. He says that the school that has the largest number of people present at the dinner, that's advanced registration, will get Jesse Jackson. Don't you think that's fair?
Now that is fair. Now, you know, I'm sure glad we have an attorney, because that is why we really needed justice here, and this is the best justice that could exist. All right, now Douglas, you heard that. I'm here pulling for you, and you're not going to let me down, because Douglas is the pride of the East Side. Now you parents and all you Qs and your family members, get on over there and purchase these tickets. Where are they going to get these tickets now? Because you tell them before John Marshall folks get them, because I don't want Clara to go out and, you know, she make a great big announcement to John Marshall, hey, get tickets to such a place. But now I want you to tell the audience now so they will know where to go pick up the tickets before Clara get to John Marshall.
Tickets can be bought at the Black Chronicle, at United Drug Stores, the Myriad Box Office, or you can call me at my office at 239-6781 if you want to reserve blocks of tickets.
Those of you that have graduated from John Marshall High School and those of you that are in school, what we want to do is to organize in order that we will have a whole section reserved for John Marshall students. Not only that, we are going to start getting ready, because I know my principal and I know my assistant principal and the counselors and my head of my department will be happy. We will start making our signs, welcome Jesse Jackson. As I look at the clock on the wall, I know it's time for me to say goodbye. And certainly today we've come to a great compromise. All of the schools wanted Jesse Jackson, and I certainly do not blame you. Attorney Alexander has stated that the school that has the largest number of people represented at the dinner will have the honor of hearing Jesse Jackson, which means Jesse Jackson will visit that school, take pictures with the students, and will also speak at that school. I think it's fair. So I say to my friends at Millwood, I say to my friends at Douglas, at Grant, in Shawnee, at Langston University, Oklahoma University, Central State University, Millwood, and Star Spencer. Yes, I say to my friends at Grant, anytime you jump on John Marshall, you are fighting bears, and that's B-E-A-R-S, and the bears do not know when to quit. We will be the school, and next week you ought to give us a deadline. When will a deadline be? When will the deadline be? On the Friday before? No, we need to know before then. We need to know before then. Jesse Jackson will be here on what date? September the 23rd. All right, now when do we need to know? Because John Marshall is ready. We are ready. Go, Bears, go. We are ready.
Go Trojans, Trojans.
Okay, Millwood, all of you go. In the meantime, all we need to know is where, and Letty will have some tickets, I will have some tickets, and John Marshall get ready tomorrow. This is Clara Luper saying to my beautiful children all over this state, you're sweet, and thank God I don't have to say anything but something good about you, and I love you very much. And to Thelma Diggs and Alma, don't forget, I love you. Let me tell you some good news. All smiles today is Helen Grimmett because her lovely daughter is in Oklahoma City. And I would like to welcome her to Oklahoma City. Clara Luper saying, whatever you do, remember Jesse Jackson will be here on September 23rd. Bye-bye. I love you.
You've been listening to the Clara Luper Radio Show. The time is now 7:30, and time to go into a 3-hour stretch of the best gospel music in Oklahoma City. Right after this, station identification.
AC Metroplex from our studios at 4240 Northeast 23rd. This is the soul of Oklahoma, KAEZ, Oklahoma City.